Stretch, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How do you see innovation working in this space, and among the folks that we're talking to here at this show, national security, intelligence community, and so on? Where are you seeing innovation really being driven, and what's making that work?
Yeah, it's always a tough one to talk about. Everyone always wants to focus on the great biggest buzzwords, like AI or XDR or whatever the latest terms are. And some of the things we're really struggling with is some of these large federal networks are still struggling with the basics. So before I came to the vendor side, my whole background is cybersecurity engineering, the DoD space and the intel space. And where I'm at is Axonius is the first vendor position I've ever done. And a lot of the reasons I came here was because of those type of questions. You have all these locations that are trying to focus on the biggest thing. And one of the things that we did from a company perspective, we have this organization called Axonius X. It's kind of like our DARPA version of Axonius. We go and we'll talk to all of our current federal partners. We'll talk to federal CISO CIOs that we're not even customers with. We'll go out to the top, the top 500, top 100. We'll go and talk to them and say, hey, what's the gap in the landscape? And then we go and analyze what that gap is. And then we go create that gap within our technology space that makes sense to add on to what we're already doing.
Yeah.
So that's been really successful. We successfully, rolled out our first our first rollout of technology in that space, in the SaaS management space. And it adds really well to our asset space. And so that's, the innovative question always gets me, right? Yeah, because, everyone said, what were you doing with AI? I'm like, well, you don't even know what your asset count is.
Yeah, that's right.
How are you even worried about what the next greatest technology is going to be?
Yeah. What are the gaps, the common threads in the gaps that you talk when you go out and talk to folks and your team goes out and talks to folks? Are there common threads among what people say, these are the gaps that I have?
Yeah, the common gap that I hear all of the time from CISOs and CIOs across the Fed space, even in industry, is, they're really struggling on even understanding their network. And they have all of these concerns and security gaps from either their internal or external attack surface, but they don't even know what their device count is or what their baseline is configured. And so I see a lot of the teams, they struggle with the amount of FTEs they have to run the tools that they have. They're trying to move forward with future projects, but they're not even sure if location X is 1,000 devices or 5 devices. So then it's a kind of a trickle-down effect, in their pyramid of, from the basics up to the most complex attacks that they can't even get there because they don't have a strong foundation to get started on.
Yeah. Is there a solution to that, and organizations just are not leveraging that solution, or solutions, maybe it's more than one, or is that just something that's not quite ready for prime time yet?
I think there is solutions to it, but there's a lot of misconceptions on technologies I already have. So there might be, certain asset technologies or log-based technologies where they think it's doing some things that they need, when the reality is they don't realize they have a whole team of contractors in the background that are trying to create something that doesn't exist in the technology. But therefore that doesn't roll up the leadership correctly. So the leadership keeps doubling down on what they've been doing and not realizing they're just kind of running in circles.
Yeah. So you use the leadership word. How much of all of this issue is a people problem and how much of it's a technology problem?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think most of it is more of a people problem than a technology. Take a look at the space that we're in. There's more than enough technology to solve world hunger from a technology standpoint. But if you don't have the right people that know how to integrate it correctly together, we're just buying things to buy things. Where the technology's there, but let's really focus on our basics and know what we have so we can expand out what we really need versus doubling down on repeat technologies that sometimes the leadership doesn't realize they're repeating the technology they already own because they don't fully understand what they own.
Stretch, it's great to see you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.